And so for where we are today, I think it makes sense to, just kind of go through the tracking, and we can go from there. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. So as I'm sure you're aware, there's a lot of focus in the market on how you ultimately get a customer to discover your product. Product recommendation engines like Certona and Rich Relevance that will display product recommendations, based on similar products that you've purchased, and even consideration into how you allow your customers to pay, whether that's a PayPal or Square or Verifone, etc. But there's been a much less focus on what happens to a customer after they buy something.
Yes.
And that's kind of where we step in. And so, like you said, Warby Parker, we've been around for about 5 years, and we've been able to, kind of break into a lot of the IR top 500. And we've also been able to work with a ton of much smaller companies too, even down to the startup level. So we've been able to garner value for, customers really regardless of size. And so we've been really fortunate in that way. But why that initial logo slide is important is because we've been able to have access to about 60% of U.S. online shoppers. So what that means is those 60% of shoppers are giving us access to the insights that we can take in from 2 billion transactions a year.
Yes.
So when we have, an origin, obviously Charlotte, a destination, whether that is Uganda or San Francisco, we're able to predict with about, just under 100% accuracy when a product is going to arrive. And so the reason we do that is, have you ever purchased something online and when you click on the tracking number, it'll say something like, no information at this time, or information not available, check back later?
Yeah, it makes me crazy.
Right. And so that's kind of because once the tracking number is created, it exists in your carrier's system. Mm-hmm. But until it's scanned into the carrier's warehouse, there's no visibility onto what's happening with that shipment. And so that's where Narvar initially steps in, is when that shipping confirmation email is sent out. So rather than giving you a tracking number that sends you to UPS and FedEx, we're able to display that estimated delivery date. A lot of our retailers will actually not put in that estimated delivery date, because the ultimate goal is to get folks to click the track your package link and get them to one of these branded pages, something like this. So, and this is where, Narvar really begins. It's where we go to see our estimated delivery date, but rather than sending the customer to DHL or FedEx or UPS, we're keeping them on brand and engaged with what's going on with what they just purchased. We want to keep everything relevant, and, really when it comes down to it, not just give the carriers free marketing, which is kind of what it is. So rather than seeing, half off your next shipment or whatever FedEx wants to tell you, we keep it focused on any kind of promotion, any kind of education, anything, loyalty related that you want to show a customer at this point of engagement. This is extremely important because most people will track a package about 3 times. So to the extent you want, a good value in terms of retaining customers, it doesn't get much better than 3 clicks, because you already have that customer. You're not paying Google AdWords. You're not trying to, get their attention in any other way. You already have their attention, and it's just a matter of keeping it and taking it.
Yeah, I love that.
So
that's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of moving on, through this tracking page, there are a couple of different ways to, kind of further keep them engaged. The first one is we will send out proactive notifications on your behalf that explains what's happening in the carrier system. So it's something that your customers would need to sign up for, but this is part of the tracking platform. There's no added cost or anything like that. But all they need to do is enter their phone number and press sign up, and we'll be sending them updates on their shipment throughout the process. Okay. Alternatively, we've implemented a similar process for Facebook Messenger. What's really cool about the Facebook Messenger is if one of your subscription holders has a question about their shipment, they'll be able to ask questions to this chatbot and get answers. So to the extent you have folks emailing or calling you wondering where an order is, we're going to be your first line of defense here and ideally reduce any impact that that's having on your productivity. So I'm not sure how many calls and emails you'll be getting, but when you start to scale up, it becomes pretty meaningful.
Sure.
What we see is a typical reduction of about 15 to 30% in Wizmo calls, depending on the size of the business. So it's definitely a provocative feature, kind of as you scale.
Okay. No, and I'll tell you that that's going to be really important, and I think that's probably several of the things that I love most about dealing with Warby Parker, and I've dealt with the Dollar Shave Club for several years, and I truly love that experience. I'll say that, we initially have several thousand women ready to sign up. In other words, we already have a list of people that want to sign up, but we will have a social media campaign going in. The initial launch will be in New York City, LA, San Francisco, Boston, and Austin, Texas.
Okay.
So
kind of, out the gate, it sounds like you have, 24,000 shipments lined up. Is that right? More or less?
Yes. So yeah, if you count on, they're going to be monthly shipments, then yes.
Yeah. No, that's great. Another question: what e-commerce engine are you going to be using to power this? Are you going to be on like Shopify or Magento or anything like that?
Magento.
Magento?
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, so we have built out cartridges for those two engines, and so we're able to get better pricing, and it's just a much more efficient, easy implementation process. So that's great to hear. So just kind of moving on, a lot of folks that shop online like to be vocal about their experience, whether that's good or bad. A lot of them will take to Yelp. They'll take to Instagram or Twitter. And, the good feedback is great. You want to see that. But there are going to be people that have a negative experience. Sure. And our idea here is to limit that to your eyes only, or your company's eyes only. So if they have a problem with their order, they'll be able to go in and provide comments and feedback through this portal rather than taking to a publicly facing platform. I'll show you kind of how to go in and address those concerns in kind of our hub platform towards the end of the slides. But you're also kind of be able to the extent you have someone that's unhappy, be able to go in and help heal that relationship. And that's what kind of ties back to, the loyalty piece, the customer retention piece, and ultimately keep people on your site.
Yes.
So everything you're seeing here is built out on our end. There's really no coding or anything that needs to take place on your side.
Okay.
The way it works is what we do, we take in your site's fonts, your site's colors, and up to 5 marketing assets. You can have 1, you can have 2, 3. It's really up to you how much you want to have. But everything that you see here will click back to your site. So whether that is, a sale or, some sort of promotion, it will tie back to your site, and we can add analytics tags to, show you exactly what's coming from Narvar.
Okay.
I don't think anything will be coming in multiple shipments at this point, but, to the extent you start kind of adding items to your site and things will be shipping on different days, we'll be able to show your customers multiple items that will be coming in multiple different shipments. So it's viewable at kind of an item level detail as well as shipment level. So, if you have one box that's going to arrive on Monday and another box that's going to arrive on Thursday, they'll be able to track the two different shipments.
Okay. And yes, there will be other items as we expand. There's other categories that we're already working on for add-on items, whether it be, heating pads or stain removers or, menstrual cramp pain relievers, or, there'd be a lot of different things.
Okay.
And then, of course, the fashion line of undergarments that we'll be selling, and that probably won't happen until after the first of the year.
I didn't know that they had menstrual pain relievers.
Yes, they do. Many.
You learn something new every day.
Yes. I mean, look, I've been talking about this for years now, so I'm really comfortable talking about all of it. I have a 15-year-old son who's very comfortable now as well. So it's, you think about things like douchebags and there's so many different things that just take a walk down that aisle in the grocery store.
I'm going to now. All right. And sorry for the little break a moment ago. I was just kind of taking some notes. So.
Oh, no worries.
Cool. So what we typically recommend is every one of those marketing assets that you see, and they don't need to be purposed specifically for Narvar. They can be taken off your site. You can get those assets wherever you want. But we recommend kind of changing those out about once a month. That's what will keep a page a little bit less stale, and will provide the best click-through rates. Why that's like specifically important for you guys is you're going to have folks logging in once a month, every time their new box is on the way.
Yes.
And so if you're showing them the same content in April that they saw in January, it just might become less appealing.
Let me ask you a question. So when someone, let's say we create a new shipment for next month, right? But the person or the customer isn't going to go onto our website and place another order. In other words, it's a subscription, so it'll just automatically come. When we create that order on our end, how do we integrate that with the tracking and all that?
I'm sorry, you kind of broke up for a second. Can you explain that question once again?
Sure. So obviously the customers will not continually go on our website every month to place an order. It's a subscription, so it'll come automatically. How does Narvar, is it just an add-in to our CRM that says the shipment was created, it's shipping out today, and then you'll have the tracking information? How does that integrate?
Yeah, so the Narvar experience really begins when there is a tracking number created, right? So, the fix there, and I'm happy to double check, but, this is what 99% sure it is you'll send a shipment confirmation email every time a new box goes out. It's not an order confirmation email, it's a shipment. So they're only going to receive one order confirmation email, the first time they purchase, something like, hey, thank you for, purchasing, your shipment will be on its way soon. But if I start in January, my second shipment is going out on February 15th.
Yeah.
I'm going to receive another email once that shipping label has been created.
Okay.
From your Magento site, and
Yes.
that's where Narvar would start again.
Okay. So if a customer wants to, and I get a lot of this from the Dollar Shave Club, if the customer wants to add something to their order, in other words, I'll get an email from the Dollar Shave Club that says, your order's coming, or it'll ship in 2 weeks. Do you want to add anything to that shipment? That doesn't happen from your side. Your side only happens when the tracking number is created, correct?
Great question. So there are a couple different ways you can do that. I mean, if you want, you can set up an email cadence that will email folks every 3.5 weeks before their next shipment, or every 4 weeks, a few days before their next shipment is going to come out.
Okay.
You can add that into the shipment confirmation email. Hey, your shipment's on the way. Would you like to add anything to your purchase? So there are going to be a couple different prongs with which you can approach that.
So then your system, when they pull up that information, it would push them back to our website to add to the order.
Yeah. So once, if they're clicking on a shipment confirmation email from us and they say, track my package, anything that they click on is going to take them back to their order or back to your site.
Okay.
Yep. And, to the extent you are sending an email saying, would you like to add anything? You can even hyperlink something back to your site to avoid the Narvar experience too. I mean, it's really however you want to do it.
Right. But what I'm saying is that a service that you offer? The marketing emails?
No. So we're strictly
shipping.
Yeah, we have to do with shipping. So a lot of people will send out their emails using something like MailChimp or something like that.
Right.
But I don't believe our professional services team does email design or anything like that. We can offer best practices, but it's not something that we handle.
Okay. I didn't know if that was another service that you all offered, so I thought I'd check.
No, that's a really good question, but to the best of my knowledge, we don't.
Okay.
And Skip, how are you doing on time? Do you have a hard stop, or are we okay to keep going?
No, you're okay to keep going. I probably have a hard stop in about 10 minutes.
No problem. I have a meeting in 2 minutes. Let me just fire off an email and let him know I'm going to be a little bit late. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that.
Sure.
Cool. So, when you ultimately want to go, and let me go back. So you can't see it behind this big square, but this is where you're going to be able to go in and see any of the feedback that your customers are leaving. Also, this is where you're going to be able to see what percentages of folks are clicking on each page, on the marketing content, and also kind of get metrics on how many people are opting into SMS and Facebook Messenger. So this is just kind of your Narvar performance page, if you will.
Okay.
So when you do go in to change those marketing assets, this is where you're going to do it. It's really as simple as changing out a Facebook photo. It's just dragging and dropping an image into both the desktop and the mobile versions, and then adding their corresponding URLs that you want them to click to.
Okay.
So if you have some sort of sale promotion that you want to stick in there, all you would need to do is just go to where the sale is on your website and add that URL in, and the photo will take you directly to that page.
Okay. And then the number of placeholders is dependent on how many we say we want put on that page.
Correct, up to 5.
Okay.
Yep. So these are just a few of kind of the tangible benefits our partners see from Narvar. So our folks that track things like Net Promoter Score or CSAT scores tend to see an increase of about 4 points. With respect to the marketing click-through rates that we're seeing, it's about 10 to 20% of the time people are clicking on those images, and from there, it's about a 3 to 4% conversion rate. And so, the reason that conversion rate is so high is because it's at a moment when a customer is most excited about a brand. So I think conversion rates for a typical like marketing email are like 0.5% or something like that.
Yeah.
And so we're able to get that higher rate due to just kind of the time in that customer's journey. With respect to just kind of operational costs, what we typically see is a 15 to 30% drop in the number of calls and email inquiries that companies are getting in response to their shipping. So just people calling in saying, "Hey, where's my order? Do I need to be home for this? I need to reschedule my delivery, etc." The reduction there is 15 to 30%.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. That's a huge cost savings in itself.
Oh yeah. So I mean, like especially for a big company with a call center, it's crazy. Narvar pays for itself right there.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think this slide's a little stupid. It can say Shopify or Magento. I don't know why it says Shopify, but we're pre-built out for both of those systems. So if you decided that you wanted to do this today, we would just need to schedule a call where you could hand over your site's fonts and your color scheme, and also your marketing assets. Mm-hmm. We'd build that out within a week or so, and then it's up and running live within 2 weeks total.
Okay.
So that's kind of it in terms of the tracking. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I mean, I obviously, in my experience with Warby Parker and the Dollar Shave Club, it has always been, it's been a seamless experience, I guess, is probably the best way to put it, which is what led me to do more research on what you all do, because I want to say that in the emails that I received from both, it has always said, powered by Narvar or something to that effect.
Yep, powered by Narvar.
Yeah, and then I believe, the same as what you spoke about a little while ago, that the after-purchase experience or the ease of use, it begins with the website, but to me the bigger piece happens in the experience that comes after they click buy. And I want to keep as many customers as possible. And the easier we make it for them and the better the experience, I think the greater the retention rates are going to be.
They absolutely will be. And it's kind of funny. My SVP was kind of joking this morning. I can't remember what store he was on, but it was a pretty high-end store that didn't implement Narvar or any in-house service like it. And he said it kind of felt like he was walking into the Ritz, and then when he got to his room, he was at a Comfort Inn. It's kind of an interesting metaphor. It's like everything looks great on the outside, and then you kind of go through the process, and you're like, wait, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's almost like everything stopped with the website, and then the experience after that it just becomes very cold.
Right, and that's really why we exist, and how we keep growing. So it's definitely been successful, and as we roll other products out, we're starting to address a lot of other pains in this space too. So it's been cool. I've been here for about 1.5 years, and I've been really loving it so far.
Awesome.
It's been nice.
Awesome. Well, hey, I really appreciate your time. I would like to know more about the costing model.
Sure.
And then
I'm happy to tell you over the phone, or I can email it to you. It's really up to you.
Yeah, if you could email it to me, that would be great. I could share it with my partners and investors.
All right, that sounds good. So I'll shoot over an email, and sounds good. Should we reconvene sometime tomorrow or next week?
Let's see, tomorrow, Friday. Hang on a second. Let me look at my schedule. I'm thinking next week, only because I want to digest it, put it in my pro forma, and
sure.
then discuss it with my partner. Let's see.
Yeah, sounds good.
So how about I could do either Monday or Tuesday. I think.
Okay, let's see here.
Tuesday would be better for me.
Okay, let me just pull up my calendar. Would 2 Eastern time on Tuesday work well?
Yes. I have a call at
Perfect.
1. Let's see. Yeah, 2 would work.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and shoot over an invite, and I'll also shoot over some of the pricing information, and we'll reconvene on Tuesday.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks again for taking the time, Skip.
We'll talk to you, Nick.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.